Okay, today we're going to look at our tutorials website again with the idea of taking a look at one of our more advanced page types called the text editor. We're going to get a first view of the text editor. So that is one of our latest page types, and we're going to set up a dedicated text editor page in our live examples area here. So let's go ahead and add a page, and we'll call it text editor. And of course, we'll choose the text editor page type, which is right down here. And this takes us into our controls. As you can see, things look a little bit different right out of the gate. We have all of these sort of silvery buttons up here. We've got a working window down here. And at first, it may seem like there's too much going on here and it looks a bit confusing. It's actually much easier than you'll think. And for anybody who's used to a word processor, they'll immediately start recognizing some of these options which appear in the top here. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to type something in here. Okay. So I went ahead and put some text in here. We can see that we have standard word processing controls. We can go ahead and bold something like this, or we can italicize something by pressing on the italics. So very, very standard editing tools here. We can do a lot more in this, but I wanted to give a first opening sort of glance at the text editor in this tutorial. We'll go into all of the features in future tutorials. But let's go ahead and just take a quick look. We can do things like changing the color of our type. Actually, I changed the background color there. Let me redo that. Put the background color back to white. Now we're going to change the actual text color, and you can see we can make alterations to our text color. We can also do things like changing the size of the font. So we do that by clicking on the font size option here, and we're going to go down and make it something much larger. We can still add and edit things in any order that we want to do it. Okay, we can also do things like adding a bulleted list, where we say something like that. We also want to escape our bulleted list by we go down to the next level, and then we escape the bulleted list. Okay. And we can hold our shift key and hit enter if we want to just drop one line. So here's a line. And if we just hit our enter key to drop a line, we'll be down here. But if we hit our shift enter, then we're just dropping a single space like that. So there's some things like that to get to know. Any of these silver buttons up here, if you hover over them, you will actually see tooltips pop up, and you can find out what is beneath these. So for example, it'll say block quote here. So if I were to drop another line and hit block quote, it would actually move us over in a common way. Also, just as with any other editor, if you do Control Z on your keyboard, Control Z, you will actually do one level of undo as well. So if I type something and I do Control Z, you can see I go back from there. Okay, so this is our first glance at the text editor. In future tutorials, we're going to be expanding this further and looking at grid layouts or tabled layouts, which are over here, and sort of doing some more fancy things. But for now, just assume treat it like a regular word processor. You can center things, you can make things bold, you can change the font, you can change the font size. If you're new to the text editor, you probably want to keep it kind of simple. Don't get too carried away, because essentially you're creating a unique page in your website, and if you get too carried away, it's going to become difficult later, down the road to kind of make your entire site go together. One other real quick thing that you might want to know about is the ability to toggle to full screen mode when you're editing. You can click on this little button right here. It says maximize. If you do that, it will actually maximize the text editor to our window size. So that can be useful for, just being able to see what you're doing in a larger way. But keep in mind, whatever you design in here is going to need to fit within the body area of your website style. So your website layout has got its own width, and whatever you do in here will need to fit within that window. Just something to keep in mind. If we minimize again, we go back to our familiar format, which is what we would need to do in order to click on publish and exit, which is how we will save our changes. Okay, so that is a first look at the text editor within SiteSkins. And again, stay tuned for more advanced tutorials on the text editor. Thanks for watching.